Welcome to today's transformation dive here at Earn Flow Zone. Ever feel like checking your bank account requires the emotional fortitude of a bomb disposal expert? Like you brace yourself, tap that little icon, and bam, there it is, the number. Or rather, the lack of number you wish was there. You know that feeling? That quick, sharp intake of breath, the knot tightening in your stomach? We call that the flinch moment. It's that universal signal that maybe, just maybe, you've been avoiding something important, or perhaps you've been checking it obsessively, hoping sheer willpower might change the digits. But the dread persists. Bills are looming. Payday feels like it's in a different time zone. And looking at the numbers just brings a familiar wave of something heavy, powerlessness. It's easy in that moment to feel like money is this chaotic weather system, a cruel force of nature you just have to endure. It doesn't feel like something you control. It feels like something that simply happens to you. Your job doesn't pay enough. The entire economic system feels stacked against you. Rent prices are living in a different reality, and isn't it amazing how unexpected expenses seem to have a VIP pass to your life? You start to feel like a victim of circumstance, caught in a financial undertow that you didn't ask for, and certainly don't feel you can escape. And when you look at others who seem to have it all together financially, the easiest narrative is, must be nice, they got lucky. Or, well, they clearly started with more resources than I ever will. It's the classic trap of externalizing control. But here's the thing, and it's maybe the most insidious trap of all. That feeling, that deep-seated belief that your financial situation is something inflicted upon you, something that just happens. That's the first, most critical money myth to bust. It will keep you stuck faster and more firmly than any high-interest credit card ever could. Because what it tells you, whisper quiet but constant, is that you have no agency in your own financial life. And if you truly believe you have no agency, guess what you stop doing? You stop looking for it. You stop searching for ways to change things because, hey, the system is rigged, right? Bad luck is following you, isn't it? Before we dive deeper, if you're into real, actionable money and mindset content that helps you build your earn flow, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think and keeps this community growing. And speaking of community, drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from, or share your biggest money habit win, no matter how small it feels. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. Okay, let's get right into that core feeling, the flinch moment. It's more than just seeing a low number. It's the story you tell yourself about that number. It's the resignation that washes over you, the belief that you're powerless against external forces. You open the app, you see the balance, and your brain immediately starts listing the reasons why it's not your fault. Rent is insane. Gas prices are killing me. My boss is cheap. The economy is terrible. It feels like you're standing in a hurricane, blaming the wind for making you wet. The wind is blowing, sure, but focusing solely on that means you miss the opportunity to grab an umbrella or find shelter. Consider someone like Mark, working 2 jobs, genuinely exhausted, living paycheck to paycheck. He's doing everything he feels he's supposed to do, put in the hours. But he's constantly complaining about gas prices, the cost of groceries, and the system being unfair. From his perspective, he's doing everything right, but life just keeps punching him in the financial gut. He feels like a victim of circumstances he didn't create. But look closer. Mark tracks nothing financially. He makes impulse buys when he's stressed, telling himself he deserves it. He hasn't updated his resume in 5 years because he's convinced there are no good jobs out there anyway. His situation feels like terrible bad luck, but it's also a pattern of choices and inactions rooted in that core belief of powerlessness. If you believe there's nothing you can do, you stop doing things that could help. It's cause and effect, plain and simple. External blame leads to internal inaction. Here's the surprising insight, the real myth bust. The system is hard sometimes. Life throws curveballs. Unexpected expenses happen. Inflation is real. The difficulty of the game is not the myth. The myth is believing that the difficulty of the game somehow removes your responsibility to learn how to play it better. It's like playing a challenging video game and saying, well, the level is too hard. Guess I just have to stand here and keep getting hit. No, you learn the enemy patterns, find the power-ups, strategize. That feeling of being stuck? It often comes less from impenetrable external bars and far more from internal beliefs about your control and capabilities. It's not about blame. It's absolutely not about saying external factors aren't real. It's about where you focus your energy. If you focus solely on what's happening to you, on the external wins, you completely miss everything you could be doing about it. Finding the umbrella, building shelter. This core concept, shifting from financial victimhood to financial agency, is the first essential step, and it starts with awareness. So, here is your first immediate action, your reflection and action prompt rolled into one. For the next 24 hours, consciously catch yourself whenever you blame an external factor for a financial stressor you're feeling. Just notice it. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just become aware of the thought pattern. Instead of just thinking, rent is too high, notice the thought and perhaps reframe it internally as, rent is high, and I feel stressed about my current income relative to that cost. That simple linguistic shift, acknowledging the external factor while also connecting it back to your internal state and implicitly your own situation, is the very first tiny step towards reclaiming your power in the flinch moment. This one habit, conscious awareness of where you place control, changed everything for me. Your financial reality right now, it's a direct reflection of choices made. Yours, primarily, but also choices made by others in situations you chose to be in, or importantly, chose to stay in. Now, stop right there. This isn't about piling on guilt or drowning in shame. Absolutely not. This is about something far more powerful, taking back control. People often get stuck in the cycle of blame, pointing fingers at the economy, their boss, their parents, student loans, or the price of avocados. It's like looking in the rearview mirror while trying to navigate rush hour traffic. You see everything that happened, but you're not moving forward, and you're probably going to crash. The moment you truly accept 100% responsibility for exactly where you are financially, guess what happens? You unlock your absolute, undeniable ability to change where you're going. Think about two people grappling with debt, fresh out of college. Sarah spends hours ranting about how unfair her student loans are, how she was forced into debt just to get an education, how the system is rigged. She blames the institution, the government, everything but her own decision to take those loans, even if necessary, and subsequent spending habits. David, on the other hand, acknowledges the weight of the loans. He doesn't dwell on the "how did I get here" blame game. Instead, he focuses on the "what am I doing about it" action plan. He budgets ruthlessly, picks up side work, and tracks his repayment progress like it's a high-score challenge in a video game. Sarah stays trapped in stress, frustration, and stagnation. David feels the challenge, sure, but he also feels the invigorating sense of being in control of his own destiny. Here's the surprising insight, the subtle truth that shifts everything. Responsibility isn't a heavy burden shackling you down. It is, in fact, the ultimate key to financial and personal freedom. Blame keeps you looking backward, justifying your position, cementing stagnation. Responsibility forces you to look forward, assessing the situation from a place of agency, creating momentum. You cannot rewind time and change the decision that led you here, whether it was taking on too much debt, not saving enough, making a bad investment, or maybe buying too many lattes. But you absolutely can change your response to that past decision, starting right this second. This principle isn't reserved for the elite few or just for people digging out of rock bottom. It applies whether you're buried under a mountain of debt or strategically building towards your first million. For the beginner earning minimum wage, owning responsibility means seeing that job not as a life sentence or someone else's fault, but as a starting point, and taking responsibility for learning skills, showing up reliably, and seeking opportunities. For the mid-earner struggling with lifestyle creep, it means owning that unchecked spending wasn't an external force, but a series of choices, and taking responsibility for creating a budget, tracking expenses, and automating savings. For the ambitious builder aiming for significant wealth, it means owning that risks come with potential failure, and when it happens, taking responsibility for the lessons learned and the next strategic move, rather than blaming market conditions or external partners. Here's what I want you to try this week. Identify just one area where you feel financially stuck or frustrated. It could be debt, lack of savings, feeling underpaid, whatever it is. Now, notice your immediate reaction. Is it to blame something or someone else? Instead of saying, it's because external factor, like the economy is bad, my boss won't give me a raise, student loans are crushing me, consciously rephrase it. Acknowledge the external factor might exist, but shift the focus. I am currently in this situation around that specific area, e.g., my savings account balance, because of choices I made or accepted regarding, e.g., spending habits, prioritizing other things, not actively seeking better opportunities. And I take responsibility for finding and implementing solutions starting today. Just that subtle shift in language, internal or external, begins to rewire your brain from passive victim to active agent. All right, let's talk about something that trips up so many people on their journey to financial freedom and personal growth. It's a simple word, but it's loaded with baggage: responsibility. Now here's the big myth we need to bust right here, right now. Taking responsibility does not mean everything that happens to you is your fault. Absolutely not. Life, as you know, isn't always a straight line. It throws curveballs you never saw coming. You can lose a job you absolutely loved, not because you messed up, but because the company downsized or a whole industry shifted. A sudden health crisis in the family can swoop in and wipe out hard-earned savings, leaving you reeling. You didn't cause the global economic downturn or the sudden rise in gas prices. These things happen to you, often through no fault of your own. The common trap people fall into is equating responsibility with blame. They think, if I'm responsible for my situation, then I must be to blame for everything that went wrong. And that feels heavy, unfair, and frankly, paralyzing. It makes you want to shrink back, complain, and point fingers at the boss, the government, the economy, fate. But here's the surprising, incredibly liberating insight. Responsibility is simply your responsibility. It's your ability to respond to whatever situation you find yourself in, regardless of how you got there. Think about it like this. Your car breaks down unexpectedly on the side of the road. Let's say the alternator died, completely out of the blue. It's not your fault the part failed. You didn't cause the mechanical issue. But your responsibility is to figure out how to handle it. Do you call a tow truck? Look up nearby mechanics? Check if insurance covers roadside assistance? Budget for the repair? Find a friend to pick you up? Or do you just sit there saying, "My car broke, it's not fair, I'm stranded, my life is over"? The person taking responsibility isn't accepting blame for the breakdown. They're activating their power to deal with the situation. Separating fault from responsibility is a profound mindset shift. Fault is backward-looking. It's about assigning blame for the past. Responsibility is forward-looking. It's about your power, your agency, your choices in the present and future. You might not be responsible for being knocked down by an unexpected event, but you are absolutely responsible for getting back up. This isn't about saying, "Tough luck, it's all on you." It's about saying, "Okay, this happened. Now what can I do?" This perspective is crucial, whether you're just starting out or building an empire. A beginner facing unexpected bills through no fault of their own doesn't just despair. Their responsibility is to explore options. Can they pick up extra hours, sell something unused, find a way to cut expenses temporarily? An ambitious builder whose venture fails, perhaps due to market shifts outside their control, takes responsibility not by wallowing in blame, but by meticulously analyzing what happened, extracting the lessons learned, and applying that hard-won knowledge to the very next project. See the difference? It's the shift from "Why did this happen to me?" to "Okay, this happened. Now what's my move?" Here's your prompt for reflection, something tangible to ground this concept. Think of a recent financial setback you faced that genuinely wasn't your fault. Maybe it was an unexpected bill, a reduced income, or a bad investment that went south due to external factors. Instead of dwelling on the unfairness of it, the fault aspect, shift your focus. List 3 specific things you could do or important lessons you could learn from this situation going forward. That's your responsibility in action. It's not about saying you deserved the setback. It's about claiming your power to navigate its aftermath and build a stronger future. Now let's shift gears a little and talk about the small things that often get a surprisingly large amount of airtime in personal finance discussions. We're diving into your daily habits or everyday choices, the $5 coffee, the impulse online purchase that shows up 2 days later, the streaming subscriptions you might have genuinely forgotten you pay for. You've heard the popular narrative, right? The latte factor. This idea that these tiny, seemingly insignificant purchases are what's secretly bankrupting you. It's often weaponized as a way to make people feel guilty or deprived. But here's the surprising insight, the truth you might not hear as often. It's usually not the $5 coffee itself that's the primary culprit breaking your budget. It's what that purchase, when made habitually and without thought, often represents. It's a flag waving, signaling a lack of awareness about where your money is truly going. It points to a lack of conscious choice. The path of least resistance often wins. And perhaps most importantly, It highlights a lack of taking responsibility for these small, repeated actions that accumulate over time. Think about it. It feels easier in the moment to grab that expensive pre-made sandwich or daily coffee than to pack a lunch the night before. It takes less effort to click subscribe to a new service or make a quick online purchase than it does to sit down, review your budget, or simply pause for 30 seconds and ask, do I actually need this right now? This isn't about living a life of extreme deprivation, cutting out every small joy. Absolutely not. It is fundamentally about intentionality. It's about bringing consciousness to actions that have become automatic. Consider someone like Sarah, a common story you see played out every day. Sarah feels like she's constantly broke, wondering where her money vanishes each month. But if you look closely, she's spending, say, $10 a day on snacks, drinks, and little convenience buys at work or on her commute without a second thought. That's $50 a week. Suddenly, it's $200 a month, evaporating into thin air on items that provided fleeting convenience, but zero lasting value or joy. The snacks themselves aren't the villain. It's her choice to spend mindlessly, driven by habit or convenience, rather than mindfully considering the cumulative impact. This is where you step in and take your power back. The core issue isn't the item purchased. It's the habit of making unconscious spending decisions that chip away at your financial flow. Taking responsibility for your habits means looking honestly at these small, repeated actions and admitting that, yes, you do have control over them. This principle applies whether you're just starting out or you're an ambitious builder. For the beginner feeling overwhelmed, taking responsibility might look like the simple, eye-opening act of tracking every penny for a week to see the reality unfold. For the mid-earner, it could be reviewing those forgotten subscriptions and cutting the dead weight, freeing up regular cash flow with minimal effort. For the ambitious builder, it's about optimizing this tail spending to free up capital specifically for higher impact investments or opportunities. It all starts with awareness and owning your choices. So, here is your immediate action step, your prompt for taking responsibility. For the next 3 days, just 72 hours, track every single dollar you spend. No exceptions, no rounding, no, oh, it's just 50 cents. Use a simple note app on your phone, a small notebook you carry with you, a spreadsheet, whatever tool makes it easiest and most accessible for you. The goal here isn't judgment or immediate change. The goal is pure awareness. It's about taking responsibility for seeing in black and white exactly where your money flows out, transaction by transaction. This one habit, simple as it sounds, has changed everything for countless people starting their journey towards financial control and intentionality. Let's talk about something that holds so many people back: the feeling that your income is completely out of your control. You look at your paycheck, and it feels like a number handed down from on high, dictated purely by your employer or the current job market conditions. You think, I get paid what they decide, right? And while yes, external factors absolutely play a role, you can't conjure cash out of thin air. Unless you're a magician, and even then, it's probably just sleight of hand. This mindset is a powerful self-limiting myth. The surprising truth, the core concept we need to embrace, is that owning your income means recognizing your immense agency in the equation. It's a shift from passively receiving a wage to actively cultivating your earning potential. Your income isn't just about the line on your resume that says job title and some generic market rate. It's fundamentally about the value you provide and your effort to position, articulate, and increase that value over time. Think of it like a video game. Your starting stats might be fixed, but your ultimate power level depends entirely on which skills you choose to upgrade, which quests you pursue, and how effectively you use your resources. Your salary is your starting stat, but your income growth is your progression tree. Let's look at two people, David and Maria. Both started at the same company, earning $40,000 a year. David feels stuck. He complains regularly about his low salary, talks about how the economy is bad, and waits for someone to give him a raise. In 5 years, he hasn't proactively updated his professional skills. He's done zero research on what someone with his experience should be making, and asking for a raise feels terrifying, so he just doesn't. He's a passenger in his own financial journey. Maria, on the other hand, started with the same $40K, but had a different perspective. She took responsibility for her earning potential. Within her first year, she identified skills relevant to higher-paying roles and invested her evenings in affordable online courses. She actively networked, both inside and outside the company, understanding market demands. When performance review time came, she didn't just hope for a raise. She came prepared with research on salary ranges for her enhanced skill set and a clear articulation of the value she was adding to the company beyond her initial job description. She successfully negotiated a 15% raise within 2 years, and she's already planning her next steps. Maria isn't waiting to be paid more. She's earning more by increasing her value and asserting her worth. This principle applies universally, no matter where you are on your financial path. If you're a beginner, owning your income means taking responsibility for identifying and learning high-demand skills that are actually valuable to employers or clients. If you're a mid-earner feeling capped, it means taking responsibility for researching market rates, mastering negotiation, seeking out promotion opportunities, or even exploring side hustles, leveraging your existing skills. If you're an ambitious builder or entrepreneur, it means taking responsibility for deeply understanding market needs and relentlessly creating valuable solutions that people are willing to pay for. Your effort in these areas has a direct causal link to your earning potential. Waiting for permission or for the market to magically change is like waiting for your favorite cooking show to deliver dinner to your door. It just won't happen. So here's the action prompt for you. Ask yourself, what's stopping you from fully owning your income? Then, take concrete steps. Research the average salary range for someone with your skills and experience in your specific area or industry. Be honest. Is there a significant gap between what you could be making and what you are making? Once you see the gap, identify one specific skill you could learn or improve this month, or one concrete action you could take this week, like updating your resume to better reflect your value, finding a negotiation script template, or setting up an informational interview. This one habit of proactive responsibility can fundamentally change the trajectory of your earnings. Welcome to today's Transformation Dive. Let's be honest, we spend years in school learning algebra, history, and how to reluctantly share glue sticks. But how many hours are dedicated to mastering the one thing that touches every single aspect of our adult lives? Money. It's like we're given the keys to a Formula One car without ever being shown the gas pedal. We're just expected to figure it out, usually through a painful process of trial and error, late fees, and maybe the occasional panic attack while staring at a bank statement. It feels backward, right? We call this the earn flow zone because it's not just about earning money. It's about making it flow in the direction you want it to go, funding the life you truly desire, not just the one that happens to you. This isn't about deprivation or chasing every last penny in a spreadsheet like some kind of financial bloodhound. It's about clarity, control, and conscious choices. It's about building wealth, yes, but also building resilience, freedom, and peace of mind. If you're ready to stop feeling like a passenger in your own financial life and start taking the wheel, you're in the right place. We're going to tackle some core principles that aren't just about numbers. They're about mindset, habits, and making intentional decisions that compound over time. This is where knowledge meets action. If you're into real, actionable money and mindset content, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think. And seriously, drop a comment with where you're watching from or your biggest money habit win. I love hearing your stories and connecting with this community. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. All right, let's talk about something that makes a lot of people squirm: budgeting. For many, the word itself conjures up images of spreadsheets, restriction, and saying no to everything fun. It feels like financial handcuffs. But here's the truth, and it might surprise you. A budget isn't about restriction. It's the ultimate act of financial freedom and self-authorship. It's you taking back control, telling your money exactly where to go instead of sitting back and wondering where it all went at the end of the month. Think of it less like a diet and more like a recipe for your financial future. You get to decide the ingredients and the outcome. People often underestimate the power of this simple act. They track spending, maybe see the patterns, but then they stop short of the crucial next step, creating a plan based on what they see. It's like watching a weather report and then leaving your umbrella at home. The myth that budgeting is inherently painful or restrictive holds so many back. They might feel guilty about past spending habits, like Sarah, who avoids looking at her finances because seeing the numbers feels like a judgment on her past choices. Her money feels chaotic, unpredictable, and she's always a little stressed about unexpected bills. She feels controlled by her money. Compare this to John, who budgets. John knows exactly how much he has allocated for bills, for fun, for savings, and for investments. He doesn't have to guess or worry constantly because he's made conscious decisions up front. He feels empowered, not restricted. He's telling his money what its job is this month. The surprising insight here is that a budget isn't about saying no to everything you enjoy. It's about intentionally saying yes to your priorities and your future self. If grabbing coffee with friends is important for your mental health, you budget for it. If saving for a down payment is a top priority, you allocate resources specifically for that goal first. It's about conscious allocation, ensuring your money serves your life's purpose, not just disappears on autopilot. This one habit changed everything for me, shifting from a feeling of scarcity to a feeling of control and abundance, simply because I knew where every dollar had a purpose. For the absolute beginner, this might just mean listing your income and your fixed expenses, rent, utilities, debt payments, and seeing what's left. Just getting that basic picture is powerful. For the mid-earner, it might evolve into a more detailed category budget, tracking variable expenses like groceries, entertainment, and transport. And for the ambitious builder, it becomes a sophisticated cash flow analysis, optimizing every dollar for investment and accelerated growth. Here's your action for this section. Create a simple budget for the next month. At a minimum, List your expected income and your fixed expenses, rent, utilities, debt payments. See what's left over after those non-negotiables are covered. Then, and this is key, decide where you want that remaining money to go. Allocate specific amounts for categories like food, transportation, fun, and savings. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just start the process of consciously directing your money. Ask yourself, what priorities do I want my money to support this month? So, we've talked about taking responsibility for your spending by creating a plan, a budget. This isn't just about numbers. It's about empowerment, choosing your priorities, and directing your financial energy towards the future you want to build. It's the foundation for everything that comes next. Because once you have this map for your money, you can start making more strategic decisions. As we wind down this session, take a moment to absorb what we've discussed, particularly the idea of your spending plan as a tool for freedom, not restriction. The one big takeaway today is this: taking conscious control of your money through budgeting is the most powerful step you can take towards financial peace and growth. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. The potential long-term benefit of this simple habit is immense. Imagine knowing, truly knowing where your money is going, feeling confident about your ability to cover your bills, save for goals, and even have room for spontaneity. All because you took the time to create a plan. This practice of consciously directing your money is more than just tracking expenses. It's an act of self-respect and discipline. It's telling yourself and your future self that you are worth the effort it takes to manage your resources wisely. It's a fundamental shift from reacting to your finances to proactively authoring your financial story. This deeper insight into money is that it mirrors our relationship with ourselves. How we handle our resources often reflects how much value we place on our time, energy, and future potential. When you budget, you are literally assigning value and priority to different aspects of your life. It's a tangible expression of what matters most to you. Don't underestimate the quiet power of consistently showing up for yourself in this way. It compounds, just like your savings will. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around. You know that feeling when you just avoid looking at something? Maybe it's the overflowing laundry basket, or perhaps, for many, it's that stack of envelopes with the red past due stamp. Debt can feel exactly like that. A heavy, unwieldy chain you're dragging around. A constant reminder of past choices or unexpected curveballs life threw your way. It's easy to fall into the trap of feeling guilty or ashamed about how the debt happened. But Earn Flow Zone isn't about dwelling on the past. It's about grabbing the steering wheel and driving forward. The core concept here is facing your debt head-on, but the crucial shift is understanding what responsibility truly means in this context. It's not about beating yourself up for having debt in the first place. It's about owning the process of getting rid of it, piece by painstaking piece if needed. Think of it less like a punishment and more like a puzzle you need to solve to unlock the next level in your financial game. People often underestimate the sheer power that ignorance gives to debt. It's one of those slightly absurd human habits. If we don't look at the monster under the bed, it's not real, right? Wrong. The surprising insight, the absolute myth bust in personal finance, is that ignoring debt doesn't make it disappear. It actively gives it more power through accumulating interest and fees. Facing it, understanding its true size and shape, and making a concrete plan, That's the only way to break free. Consider the example of two friends, Mark and Lisa. Mark carries credit card debt, but looking at his statements feels like stepping on a financial landmine, so he mostly just pays the minimums and hopes for the best. Meanwhile, the balances quietly grow, the interest compounding, like weeds in a neglected garden. His friend, Lisa, also has debt, maybe student loans, a car payment, and some credit cards too. But Lisa did something Mark couldn't bring himself to do. She sat down, probably with a deep breath and a strong coffee, and made a list of every single debt: creditor, current balance, interest rate, minimum payment. Laid bare on a spreadsheet or even just a notepad, that act wasn't just busy work. It was taking the power back. She chose a repayment strategy, maybe the debt snowball, where you focus on the smallest balance first for psychological wins, or the avalanche method, attacking the highest interest rate to save money long-term. She tracks her progress like scoring points in her personal financial fitness challenge. Lisa feels challenged, yes, like she's training for a marathon, but she also feels empowered, in control. Mark, still avoiding the numbers, feels defeated, stuck, like he's lost the game before he even started playing. Responsibility in the context of debt isn't having zero debt. It's having a clear-eyed plan to deal with the debt you do have. This principle holds true whether you're tackling high-interest credit card debt, navigating student loans, or managing a mortgage. It means digging into the details, understanding the terms, knowing your interest rates, exploring options like refinancing or balance transfers if they make sense, and most importantly, making consistent, strategic payments towards your goal of debt freedom. It's like following a recipe. You can't skip ingredients or steps and expect it to turn out right. So, here is your action prompt, and trust me, this one habit changed everything for so many people I've coached. Make a list of all your non-mortgage debts. Include the creditor, the current balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. Write it down, type it out, put it somewhere you can see it. Just seeing it laid out, quantifying the challenge is the first, incredibly powerful act of taking responsibility and staring that monster in the face. It's not about judgment. It's about clarity. All right, let's talk about something that feels like it's always for later: building your future self. People often treat saving and investing like the leftovers of their budget. You know the drill. I'll save when I have extra money. It sounds logical, right? But here's where the mindset shift comes in, and it's a big one. Taking real, unapologetic responsibility for your future means flipping that script. It means prioritizing saving and investing now, even when the present feels tighter than a cheap pair of jeans after Thanksgiving dinner. It's not about having extra. It's about making a conscious, deliberate decision to allocate resources towards the person you want to be years down the line, towards the security and growth you crave. The surprising truth: not saving isn't a passive state you just find yourself in. It's an active choice. Every time that paycheck hits and you spend it all, you are actively choosing to prioritize immediate gratification over your long-term well-being. Think of it like opting out of a game before it even starts. You can't win if you don't play. And the craziest part, the one that gets me every time, is the outsized impact that consistent, even small, actions towards saving and investing have over time. We're talking about the magic word: compounding. It's like planting a tiny seed that grows into a mighty oak, but only if you plant it and water it consistently. Let's look at Sarah and John. Sarah genuinely believes she can't save a dime. Every dollar is accounted for, she says. John, on the other hand, decides his future self is non-negotiable. He sets up an automatic transfer of just $25 from every single paycheck to a separate savings account. Doesn't sound like much, right? But after a year, John has saved $600. That small buffer is there for emergencies, a safety net. When an unexpected expense hits, a car repair, a vet bill, John dips into his savings and handles it. Sarah, with nothing saved, gets hammered. She has to borrow, go into debt, or just forego something essential. John wasn't saving extra money. He was making a conscious choice to build his future self, $25 at a time. Sarah chose immediate consumption, leaving her vulnerable. This isn't unique to them. It's universal. This principle applies no matter where you are on your financial journey. The absolute beginner might automate that tiny $10 or $25 transfer we talked about. It's more about the habit and the decision than the amount initially. The mid-earner, who's got the basics covered, might pivot to maximizing their retirement accounts. Hitting that 401k match is literally free money you're saying no to if you don't. The ambitious builder, the one looking for accelerated growth, might take that saved capital and invest in their business, real estate, or specific assets aligned with their bigger vision. The action changes, but the core decision, prioritizing your future self now, remains the same. Here is your concrete action step, and I want you to commit to it today. Set up an automatic transfer of any amount you can genuinely afford. Yes, even if it's just $10 or $25. From your checking account to a separate savings account. Make it happen every single time you get paid. Log into your bank's website or app right now. Click those few buttons. Make it non-negotiable. Treat it like a bill you absolutely have to pay to your future self. Don't think about it, just set it and forget it. This one habit changed everything for me when I started, and I see it transform lives constantly. It's the cornerstone of building that financial buffer and opening the door to compounding. Navigating the world of personal finance can feel like trying to drink from a fire hose. Taxes, investing strategies, insurance policies, choosing the right budgeting software. It's a tidal wave of acronyms and jargon that can leave you feeling utterly swamped. You look at spreadsheets, charts, and articles, and it's easy to just shut down, thinking, this is too much for me. There's this persistent myth, often whispered in hushed tones, that finance is inherently confusing. A complex labyrinth only navigable by those with a natural affinity for numbers or some kind of secret handshake knowledge. The narrative in your head might be, I'm just not a math person, so I'll never get this. And honestly, who has the time or the brain space to figure it all out anyway? But here's the crucial reframe, the perspective shift that changes everything. Financial literacy isn't some innate talent you're born with. It's a skill. Like learning to cook, ride a bike, or navigate social media algorithms. It's something you acquire through practice and effort. Taking responsibility for your financial well-being means making a conscious decision to commit to learning what you need to know, not all at once, but one step at a time. Think of it less like mastering calculus overnight and more like learning a new recipe. You start with the basics, follow the steps, and gradually build up your repertoire. And here's the surprising insight that might just lift a weight off your shoulders. Most personal finance concepts, at their core, are not rocket science. They aren't formulas reserved for Wall Street wizards. Things like compound interest, the benefit of diversification, understanding a basic budget, or knowing what an index fund is. They are understandable principles. However, this doesn't mean they require zero effort. They require dedicated effort to learn. It's like wanting to get fit. Knowing that exercise and healthy eating work isn't enough. You have to actually do it, consistently. Ignorance in personal finance isn't bliss. It's undeniably expensive. It costs you in missed opportunities, unnecessary fees, and poor decisions that chip away at your potential wealth. Consider David. David knows he should probably start investing for retirement, but the jargon in brokerage ads and financial news scares him away. Diversification, asset allocation, PE ratios. It all sounds like a foreign language. So he avoids it, feeling paralyzed by the perceived complexity. Now look at Mark. Mark also found it confusing initially, but he decided to take responsibility. Every week, he commits just 1 hour, maybe 30 minutes reading a simple, beginner-friendly finance blog post and 30 minutes listening to a podcast explaining a concept like index funds in plain English. Mark isn't trying to become a financial analyst. He's simply building his understanding, one topic at a time. Slowly but surely, he's gaining confidence, connecting the dots, and feeling empowered, while David remains stuck, letting potential growth pass him by. Taking responsibility for your financial education means humbly admitting what you don't know, and there will always be things you don't know, and actively seeking reliable information. It means viewing yourself as a perpetual student of your own money. For anyone, at any level of wealth or understanding, this means a commitment to continuous learning. The landscape changes, new tools emerge, and your own life situation evolves, requiring updated knowledge. So, here is your actionable step, designed to combat that feeling of overwhelm and kickstart your responsibility engine. Identify just one financial topic that you currently find confusing, intimidating, or just plain murky. It could be anything. Understanding your tax bracket, what compound interest really means for your savings, how dividends work, or even just the difference between a checking and savings account. Spend just 15 minutes sometime this week focusing solely on learning about that single topic. Find a simple explanation online. Watch a short, beginner-friendly YouTube video, or read a clear definition. Don't try to learn everything. Just master that one tiny piece. This small act of taking responsibility and engaging in focused learning will build momentum and chip away at the overwhelm, proving to yourself that you can learn what you need to know. All right, team, let's talk about the messy middle. Because life, it rarely goes in a straight line. You're cruising along, building your financial momentum, feeling good, and bam, an unexpected expense blindsides you. Maybe it's a leaky roof, a job layoff hitting your industry, or the market doing a sudden dive that makes your investments look like they're on a roller coaster designed by a maniac. These financial curveballs, they happen, and as we've explored, they aren't always your fault. Sometimes, they are purely external forces, like trying to budget for a new tire after hitting a pothole that felt suspiciously like a portal to another dimension. But here's the critical pivot, the core concept that separates those who recover quickly from those who spiral. Your response to those setbacks is always your responsibility. You might not control the storm, but you absolutely control how you batten down the hatches and repair the damage. This isn't just about willpower. It's a fundamental decision point that dictates your financial future. When a setback hits, you stand at a fork in the road. One path leads to feeling helpless, blaming external factors, and letting the problem consume you. The other path, often much steeper and harder in the moment, is acknowledging the hit, accepting the reality, and immediately focusing on what you can do. Here's the surprising insight. Setbacks aren't just problems to be endured. They are powerful opportunities. They are stress tests for your financial plan and your personal resilience. Think of it like hitting a plateau in the gym. It's frustrating, right? But that struggle, that need to adapt your workout or push a little harder, is where the real strength gains happen. Setbacks force you to test your strategy under pressure, reveal its weaknesses, and ultimately refine it. This is where the cause and effect becomes crystal clear. A responsible, action-oriented response causes faster recovery, builds resilience, and extracts valuable lessons that strengthen your financial future. A passive, despairing response causes the problem to deepen, drains resources, financial and emotional, and teaches you nothing useful for next time. Consider the classic tale of two people facing job loss. Sarah spiraled. The shock was immense, and she retreated feeling like a victim. She put off updating her resume, doom-scrolled on social media, and started comfort spending on takeout and online shopping, quickly draining her small emergency fund. Her response, though understandable emotionally, was irresponsible financially, and left her in a much worse position weeks later. Then there's Lisa. Lisa felt the sting. She allowed herself a moment of frustration, but within a day, she shifted her focus. She immediately updated her resume and LinkedIn, reached out to her network, ruthlessly cut non-essential spending, goodbye daily lattes, and proactively started exploring temporary or contract work while searching for a new full-time role. Lisa didn't pretend it didn't hurt, but she took immediate, responsible action to navigate the crisis. This pattern holds true at every level. A beginner facing an unexpected car repair learns to get creative, selling unused items, picking up extra freelance gigs, or finding drastic ways to cut expenses temporarily. A mid-earner dealing with a pay cut isn't defeated. They revisit their budget with a fine-tooth comb, identify lower priority spending to trim, and look for ways to supplement income. An ambitious builder whose project fails financially doesn't just give up. They conduct a brutal post-mortem, extract every painful lesson learned about planning, financing, or execution, and apply those lessons rigorously to their next venture, making it stronger. Your success isn't measured by avoiding falling down. It's measured by how quickly and effectively you get back up and adjust your course. This responsibility isn't just a theory. It's a muscle you build, and it starts with awareness and a commitment to action, no matter how small the step feels. So let's make this practical. Ask yourself, reflecting on a recent financial wobble you faced, big or small, maybe something even just last week. What one responsible step did you take? Or, knowing what you know now, could you have taken differently? Identify that specific action, no matter how insignificant it felt at the time. It could be as simple as not hitting buy now on that impulse purchase, or as significant as immediately calling a bill provider to discuss options. Recognizing and owning that potential or actual responsible step is the first brick in building unbreakable financial resilience. Okay, you've started taking responsibility for your current financial situation, understanding where you are and maybe even why. But responsibility isn't just about managing the present or fixing past mistakes. It's about actively creating the future you deeply desire. Think of it like building a magnificent structure. You don't just react to foundation cracks. You lay the blueprint for what you want to build next. This is where building your vision comes in. Your financial goals, whether that's finally crushing that student loan debt, putting a down payment on your dream home, securing a comfortable retirement so you can travel the world, or scaling that side hustle into a full-time profitable business. These things don't just appear through sheer willpower or random chance. They require intense intentionality, consistent disciplined effort, and a clear picture of the destination. Here's the surprising insight: the mental shift that changes everything. Hoping for a better financial future is a passive state. It's like standing at the foot of a mountain and wishing you were at the peak, but never taking a step. It feels nice, maybe a little comforting, but it generates zero forward momentum. Building one, however, through conscious, responsible choices today is an active, empowering process. It's lacing up those boots and starting the climb, one foot in front of the other. Let's look at two people we might know. David vaguely hopes that one day he'll be financially comfortable. He doesn't really define what comfortable means to him, how much money that involves, or what specific steps he needs to take. His approach is mostly reactive. If extra money comes in, he might save it, but he has no plan for consistent action. He's hoping. Then there's Maria. Maria decides she wants to be financially independent by age 50. This isn't a vague hope. It's a specific, measurable goal. She sits down, maybe does some research, calculates roughly how much capital she'll need to achieve that independence. She then creates a clear savings and investment plan, broken down into monthly and yearly targets. She tracks her progress meticulously, perhaps using a simple spreadsheet or an app. Every financial decision she makes, where she spends, where she saves, how she invests, opportunities she pursues, is measured against that goal. Is this bringing me closer to financial independence by 50, or pushing me further away? Maria isn't hoping. She is actively, deliberately, and responsibly building her vision, block by block. Taking responsibility for your financial vision means moving beyond wishing and into doing. It means sitting down and defining, in concrete terms, what financial success looks like to you, not what society or your neighbors tell you it should be. It's your mountain to climb, your structure to build. And once you have that picture, it means making choices today, this week, this month, that directly move you towards that vision. It's the ultimate cause and effect loop. Clear vision plus intentional action equals progress. No action equals no progress. Simple, but profound. Your action right now, if you are truly taking responsibility for your future, is to write down one specific, measurable financial goal you have. Don't just think it. Commit it to paper, a note on your phone, or a digital document. Make it specific. Save $5,000 for an emergency fund by date. Pay off $10,000 of credit card debt in the next 18 months. Or increase my net income by 10% in the next year. Writing it down isn't just a bureaucratic step. It is the very first, tangible act of taking responsibility for making it happen. You're laying the cornerstone of your financial future. We've journeyed through quite a bit together, haven't we? We faced that uncomfortable flinch moment head on, the one where your stomach knots up at the thought of money. We've peeled back the layers of that trap of feeling powerless, stuck in circumstances you believe are beyond your control. But as we saw, the fundamental liberating truth is this: your financial reality, the numbers in your accounts, the state of your debt, the potential of your income, it's all fundamentally shaped by your choices and your willingness to take responsibility. Not just for the external events that happen, but for how you respond to them. This is the bedrock of everything. We busted that sneaky myth that responsibility equals blame. People often confuse the two, thinking taking responsibility means admitting fault or feeling guilty. But it's not about pointing fingers, least of all at yourself in a harsh way. It's about reclaiming your agency. It's like being the captain of your ship. A storm might hit, external event. But your responsibility is navigating through it, adjusting the sails, making decisions. You don't blame yourself for the storm, but you do take responsibility for your actions in weathering it. This applies across the board. Your habits, financial and otherwise. Your income potential, how you choose to spend, how you approach debt, how consistently you save, how you react to setbacks, and how clearly you define your future vision. It's not about needing to be perfect from day one, or even having all the answers. It's about making that conscious, powerful shift out of the passenger seat of a victim mindset, where things just happen to you, and firmly gripping the steering wheel as the driver of your own financial life. If you ignore this lesson, if you let the inertia of blaming external factors or feeling like money problems just happen to you persist, you remain firmly stuck. It's like trying to build a sturdy house on quicksand. You'll keep repeating the same cycles, feeling that familiar flinch, that same heavy knot of powerlessness. You won't build savings that actually grow. You won't pay down debt effectively. You won't increase your income strategically in a way that lasts. You won't build the future you truly want, because deep down, you won't believe you can. You'll continue to react to life's financial curveballs instead of proactively shaping your financial destiny. It feels exhausting just thinking about that loop, doesn't it? It's the financial equivalent of running on a treadmill. Lots of effort, no forward progress. But the moment you embrace this principle, the very moment you say, "Okay, I take responsibility for my part in this," everything, and I mean everything, shifts. It's like flipping a switch and the lights coming on. You gain clarity where there was confusion. You start finding options and solutions where before you saw only insurmountable obstacles. You build momentum, not just towards hitting some abstract financial goal, but towards a profound feeling of competence and control in your life. It's a powerful domino effect. Boss, promo, ello, boss. And here's the surprising truth about this shift. It doesn't require a massive, overwhelming overhaul today. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to start somewhere, taking responsibility for that single first step. Remember those concrete first actions we touched on in earlier sections? Noticing when you blame external factors, Section 1 concept, or maybe simply tracking your spending for a few days, Section 4, or listing out your debts. No matter how scary it feels, Section 7. Perhaps setting up that tiny automatic transfer to savings, Section 8. Or even just writing down one specific, exciting financial goal, Section 11. These weren't just exercises. They were invitations to take that first responsible step. Your final, clear, and utterly doable step today, the capstone of this journey. Go back, reread the actions suggested or implied in Sections 4 through 11. Scan through them. Don't overthink it. Your mission is simple. Choose the single easiest one for you to start right now, the one that feels like the smallest hurdle, the least resistance. Maybe it's just downloading a budgeting app, or finding that old debt statement, or even just setting a calendar reminder to check your bank balance tomorrow. And then, do it. That one small, seemingly insignificant act of taking responsibility is the true, powerful beginning of your earn flow zone. It's not about perfection. It's about the practice of ownership. And with each tiny step, your belief in your ability to shape your financial future will grow. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around.